Hey guys, thought I'd have a talk to you about the VM1000. This is like a 15 or 16 hour review. The reason I'm doing a review nice and early is so that I remember some of the things about it that I don't like, because let's face it, after you put say another 50 hours on it, right, you just get used to working around some of the idiosyncrasies. It's a bit like buying a new car and you plug your phone in and the CarPlay displays your phone differently and it kind of annoys you. You know, it's just those little things. But after a few months of driving, you soon forget about them. So that's the same case as this. So let's talk about these. Things I do like is it's got plenty of power. For me, it's nice and quick. That's kind of an important feature for me. I like these tracks, these open track designs. They're kind of self-cleaning. They do catch a little bit of shit up in there, and you can get a bit of mud jammed into these back idlers here, which sometimes you have to break out manually. As in another video you'll see, the geometry of the 4-in-1 bucket's not great because it's tapered here, so you don't get a full swing down to 90 degrees in some circumstances when you're unloading from a bit of height. But a different bucket with a square side here that's not a triangle would probably make a big difference. The hydraulics and everything work nice. The Kubota's really nice. You don't have to run it much harder than 2500 RPM. 2800 for sort of hard work. It does go up to 3200, which I've never found a need to run it at. One other thing I'd like is the rear step is really high, but something else someone else pointed out to me is that it's actually angled in. So that's really good because it actually keeps you forward in the machine, so it kind of keeps you in here. Unfortunately for me, this padding is right at the height of my nuts, so I do kind of bang them around a bit. I think in future versions I'd like to see the center cut out here, so it's just two small pads for your hips and a little bit of room for your goods to go in. Now if you're a different height than me, you know, that probably might not be a problem, or maybe if I was a bit older and, you know, they might not bang in there. So that's just one little thing that actually bothers me a bit. That's a daily problem for me. If I keep the machine over the 50 hours, because I usually turn these machines over at 50 hours so that I can get the next one to show you guys what's the next machine, I would probably seriously consider putting a cut in here or changing this. It's only just screwed on, so it wouldn't be too hard to get it reupholstered. Quite like about this is the ground height. So going over stuff is really good. But again, this standing position is pretty tall, and I will tell you that coming from other machines that are a bit lower, it's a little bit swayy at first, but it's just something you gotta get used to. Now I am. And these grab bars are really well designed and really well thought out. They're in pretty much the perfect place. I find the controls quite ergonomic. I like this hand brace up here is up nice and high, and you're really only just working with the top part of the joystick, so it's got nice control. And this one here is at a different height. Now somebody else did mention that they don't like the position of the auxiliary, and after considering what they said, I think perhaps it could be a little bit more further to the center, or maybe a different style lever so that you can kind of maybe operate the auxiliary for opening and closing your bucket while you're operating the boom up and down and pan and tilt with a thumb. That's coming from a Kanga operator that's used to using his thumbs and his fingers, and to be honest, it's quite a good valid point. I don't really use the park brake, but I do like it. It's so nice and easy to use. It's just so smooth. Let's get in close and have a bit of a closer look. So you can see these tracks do clean themselves out nicely. You can see some signs. I have had some rocks in here. It does like to grind rocks up in there, but they spit them out nicely. I'm pretty happy with all of that. These access panels definitely make servicing the machine nice and easy. Straight behind that one is your oil filter, easy access. Checking the oil on this one's easy. It's straight in, and the dipstick is on the other side, unlike some models where it's on this side, so that's nice. Someone's thought about that. Plenty of removable panels here. There was a small little problem with this with an engine rattle. There's a video available on some of the groups there on how to fix that rattle. It's a slight engine mount miscalculation, nothing too serious. As you can see, pretty high here, and like I was telling you, it does angle in a bit, which is nice for when you're up here. So these are the ergonomic controls. Like I said, they're quite nice. Now, in here, I think what the Kanga operator would like to do is be able to operate this auxiliary with his thumb over here, and I think that might be a nice idea. So maybe a shaped lever here is a good idea. Throttle's nice. I do love the simplicity of the control panel. I don't like the digital control like the LCD screens. I guess by now they're pretty proven to be durable and should last 10-15 years, but I like the analog features of this. I would like a tachometer rather than just this sticker. Maybe it's just me, you probably don't need it, to be honest, but I did use an RPM gauge and put some marks on here at 2400 and 2800, all the way is 3200. Hydraulic tank's nice and easy. Filling up is pretty high. That's a bit of an effort. You probably need a fuel pump, or you stand on here and hold your jerry can to fill it up. Showing you that ground clearance there. As you can see out here in the mud and the muck, it's pretty nice. Everything's well protected. You've got your nice counterweights. I have found this rather rear heavy for working on hills and a farm, and I don't know if you've seen my videos, but we nearly flipped it pulling this stump out here. There's a bit of an OF moment. We were just waiting for it to dry out to rip that stump out too. So I've actually removed one counterweight, and it is a lot better. I think if I was going to use it long term and keep the machine beyond the 50 hours mark, I would probably add 20 kilos of weight to the front here just to help with a little bit of that. Giving you a nice view here, this is that triangle shaped bucket that's causing the problem with tipping it out. I'm really liking the guard up here. The quick release hydraulics are really nice. Otherwise, it's exceptionally well built and it's a nice usable machine. I'm really quite enjoying it and quite happy with it. Overall, I think it's probably one of the nicest machines I've used. It is a home owner machine. Remember, this company here does specialize in commercial machines. So the homeowner machine is kind of the lower end of their equipment. The rest of their equipment's designed for commercial and contractors. This one is one of the few models in their range designed for the homeowner and light commercial work. I'm not saying you can't use it for commercial work, you absolutely can. The difference between the commercial models and this model is the commercial models have a second set of auxiliaries. They may have a fourth pump and some other various configurations. That is something I will say about VMeg, is all their machines are fairly configurable. So if you're ordering one, you can order it with a higher flow auxiliary pump. You can have a second set of auxiliaries, and there's a few other changes like that that you can make to the machine for yourself. So all in all, pretty bloody good. Tell us what you think in the comments. Leave a few comments. If you've got any questions about the machine, feel free to ask me. I'd love to answer them for you. I better get back to it and do some work. Thanks, guys.